Hello, I'm Bob Jokeles, Superintendent of Fitchburg Public Schools. Today I'm going to provide you an update on where we're at and next steps in regards to our reopening. Today I want to go over a lot of information with you. Here is a detailed itemization of what I'll be covering, and I'll try to be short and sweet and informative. I want to let everyone know up front we do not have all the answers to all your questions. We will be issuing a list of frequently asked questions and answers on our social media shortly. And I want to let everyone know up front also that the plan as presented in this slide deck is proposed. We are still in negotiations with our labor unions and our transportation company. And this proposed plan should be considered not final at this time. I want to first begin and say that the health and safety of our students, staff, and families of the Fitchburg Public Schools is our #1 priority. Our goal is also to meet the learning needs and social emotion needs of all our students when they do return on the opening day of school. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education asked all school districts across Massachusetts to prepare 3 plans, one being a full in-person return, the second being a hybrid return to school, which combines in-person school learning and also a remote component. And then lastly, a remote learning only component. Based on our feasibility study of all 3 options, we have ruled out the return to school to in-person learning. The hybrid model represents a phased-in return of our students based on time schedules combined with partial remote learning. The full remote learning will provide students a device and internet access. Under both options, parents may choose to select the remote option. And they may choose between either option and go back and forth. Again, the full return option is not viable at this time with the required 6 feet of social distancing. We're in the process of procuring personal protective equipment. As you've seen on the news, we're looking at utilizing the state contracts to get the best pricing and availability through a variety of vendors. We're working with these vendors on the lead times to get the materials and the equipment in our school buildings, in our classrooms. The orders are ongoing and ever-changing. I will be sharing with you all the preliminary orders so far. To that end, this slide covers the orders for the first month of operations. This will cover approximately 30 days. So if we look at 170 days, we'd be looking at probably 6 or 7 times that dollar amount, which would be close to $85,000 or $850,000 for the year if we were to annualize this. Parents and community members may be curious as to what will be in the classrooms. What are we buying? So here it is. We'll be equipping each class with a trash receptacle, foot operated, providing a 1-gallon pump hand sanitizer, disposable gloves, disposable masks, face shields upon request, disposable gowns upon request, disinfecting wipes and spray, distance floor markings, and safety signage regarding hand washing, physical distancing, and masks. A major part of reopening concerns cleaning and disinfecting our school facilities. We're training our maintenance and custodial staff on routines. The cleaning and disinfecting supplies in district are being purchased under the state procurement contracts and based on availability and price. We'll be performing daily, hourly disinfecting routines in our classrooms and bathrooms to ensure the safest possible environments. We are having evaluations performed on our heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems. Gale Associates is the engineering firm that will be performing those evaluations. The building management will be continuously and constantly looking at social distancing and traffic flow based on Department of Elementary and Secondary Education guidelines. And we'll also be encouraging the hand washing and sanitizing of our staff and students. Lastly, our classroom furniture will be cleaned on a daily basis. As mentioned earlier, one of the components of reopening school is to look at our air quality and ventilation systems. Over the past year, the Department of Public Health has completed 3 school indoor air quality reports. Those reports that are already completed and posted on our website are South Street Elementary, Memorial Middle School, Goodrich Academy. Longsjo's indoor air quality report was performed before schools were closed in response to the COVID emergency, and we're waiting for the report from the Department of Public Health. We've also contracted with Gale Associates, as I just mentioned, to evaluate all our schools. That work will begin shortly. And lastly, over the last couple of years, as a commitment to our facilities and air quality initiatives, we've invested about $142,000 at Fitchburg High School alone over the past 2 years. What I'm going to talk about now is what is proposed, phased-in approach of the hybrid model. Again, proposed is not final. There are negotiations that are still ongoing, and this should be considered a work in process. But these next few slides summarize discussions of current status of what what is being considered. So first, from a staff perspective, our staff will be returning on August 26th for virtual from-home professional development. From the 31st of August through September 11th, virtual professional development in building using social distancing in classrooms will occur. The earliest staff and students will report to schools under a hybrid approach would be September 14th. With that beginning would be remote learning would begin for all pre-K through 12 students regarding expectations, the technology usage, how to pick up supplies, and our staff meeting with students to develop relationships and having building drive-bys, much as we did during the spring to meet and greet and develop relationships with our students and staff. This is all weather permitting, as the weather will still be conducive to having these type of events. We will also have a Cohort C beginning September 28th, which will consist of our special education students returning to the classroom for related services, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech and meeting with the speech and language pathologists. We will also be bringing back our English language learners, our level 1s and 2s. Lastly, on October 13th, we plan to bring back staff and students to return to a hybrid model if all conditions remain safe. I'd like to next talk about the hybrid implementation committee that we're considering. This group of individuals would be comprised of teachers, administration, school committee, parents, public health experts, our staff nurses, Board of Health officials from the city, and will include students. This committee will meet weekly and review current data and reopening challenges. One thing that I haven't mentioned is at any point in time under the proposed hybrid approach, if conditions change, we can go back to a full remote learning environment. Also, parents have the option and flexibility of selecting remote learning at the outset if they aren't comfortable returning in a hybrid model in October. They may always change and go back and go to a hybrid model, but the remote option is available for all parents and students. Lastly, I want to conclude with just how to get a hold of us. There's a school committee meeting scheduled for Monday, August 10th at 6 p.m. on FATV. If you have questions, please send them to fpsquestions@fitchburg.k12.ma.us. More details will be provided early next week. As I mentioned earlier, we'll be posting a frequently asked questions document to our website, and we'll be distributing that by email to our parents. And lastly, a lot of interest in the community centers around sports. That information will be released over the next week from either the MIAA and or the Department of Education, and our athletic director, Craig Antasi, will also be making a local announcement. Again, tune in Monday night, 6 p.m. on Fitchburg Access TV to hear the school committee discuss the reopening plan options. Thank you for your time.